this will be the start of episode 5. In this episode we're going to do a bit of patchwork. I'll show you where we're going to patch it up. These ones here that I wasn't going to worry about, but they're a little bit ugly looking. So what I've done is I've made up a few little bits and pieces, one for each side, and we're going to patch that into there. We're going to weld up those slots in the top there that should not be there. I've got no idea why they've cut it all out, but it's all a mess. And then I'll show you when that's patched in and finished, and then we'll do some other patching in the car around the window, I think. And that's what it looks like when it's done. That was the first attempt with MIG welding. A little bit splattery at first, but got used to it. But that should keep it the way it should be. We'll do the other side now. That's a little bit worse, but we'll get over that in a sec. While I was over this corner, I just noticed there's a rust line through here where somebody folded it back. So I thought while I'm in here, might as well cut that out and replace it as well. Just gone through the back. Little pinhole. So luckily you can get to the back of this as well. So you can weld it in and seal the back of it as well. Well, I've made the pieces to go in here, welded them in, and another piece in there that was actually just a spot hole. So now I'm just going to put some black sealer on it, and I'll show you when it's finished. Back to the next job. The back parcel tray's been finished and sealed both sides in and out. Both sides under the strip here, there was a rust surface. It appeared that the water gets in here somewhere and travels down inside the strip. And because of that, the water stays there, and that's the reason both sides ended up with a bit of surface rusting here. Luckily it wasn't through, so I've just cleaned it up back to metal and coated it. But if anybody that's worked on the Monaros has got any great ideas on how to actually keep the water out of here completely, there must be a way to do it, because you've got one track on the bottom and you've got the second rail continuing down here. And I'm presuming the second rail is meant to keep the water out of there, but I'd say the water's getting in there somehow. So apart from just sealing it up, if anyone's got any ideas, drop us a message, give us some ideas. The back parcel tray's all done now. Both sides in and out, and there's no more rust in that, so it's sealed. And that should be okay. I think the next biggest job is going to be this rear quarter, which is going to be a bit of a job and a half. I might get that stripped and get the temporary bit of metal that somebody's plugged in there with a few rivets, get that out to see how big I need the part and whether I can buy a part for it, or whether I can just make a part to go underneath. I'll be back soon. Well, I found myself a little rust hole. I'll show you what I found in the car. That's what you call a little hole. You can see all the way through. So, what they did was they actually put a plate on there, cut little bits and pieces, put a whole lot of pop rivets, a bit of bob, and that's the way it's lived for a few years. So, I think what I intend doing, which will take a while, to replace this bottom piece here, so that brings the outside of the guard back to a normal guard. We're going to cut it around here, and then cut it back here and back here. Luckily the sides here are okay. That's quite good actually, considering what was in here. So that was just full of water. This piece here, which is attached to the side of the guard, isn't all that fantastic in the bottom here, so I'm going to have to put a strip in there as well. So I'll probably make a strip up to put in there first, and then work on the rest of it and try and reproduce the shape that it is now. So I'll be a while doing this one before I come back in. Alright, I'll show you what I found. I finished the right hand side with the wheel well, and when I decided to have a bit of a dig around inside the left, I found a bit of pitting on the outside of the skin, but then when you look closer there's a lot more than just pitting. I'll show you what I mean. After I cut the skin off, I noticed that it's completely gone inside of the inside panel and up here as well. So it's been like that for a long time. Originally when Holden built these cars, the inner skin had a little recess here and a recess here. And the idea of that was to let any water out that was inside, because the skin folded down over the top of that and left a hole. But unfortunately the way that Holden filled their cars up with that black mastic, it was just a nightmare because it completely filled everything up, which means any water that got in there stayed in there forever unless you wanted to get it out with a rag or whatever. So a lot of the years they never worried about that. I guess I'm lucky it's only the bottom section gone, because the inside part, the inside's still nice inside, so I'll probably just cut along that line there and replace both sections. The only section that wasn't bad was here. It's quite good condition inside, so I cleaned that up and coat it, and I've just left that section there to keep the integrity of that rolled on the bottom of the outside skin. Might make it a bit easier to finish things off and get them at the right shape. So I'll let you know when we've finished doing a bit of work. Well, in the last little clip I was cutting out metal out of the bottom here, and I had to look for some little pinholes here. So I'll show you what I found inside. First of all, I ended up replacing this whole section. Oh, a bit difficult to get down and look at this. Underneath here, I had to replace this section on the outside first of all. So that was one piece. I replaced that there in one piece. They've all been butt welded so that you can clean them up inside and it's nice and neat and tidy. And I ended up putting two pieces in here. It was too difficult to try and work both sides of the car, so I put one piece in, then put the second piece in and cut it to size. So there's absolutely no rust anywhere in there anymore. It's all clean, and I made a point of keeping these open so that any water that gets in there will get out. What I'll do later on is possibly put a hole in the very bottom of this, once I find out what the bottom is, and punch a hole through it so that anything gets in there, it can get out. On the other side, I'll just turn it around and show you what was done on the other side. The other side, under close inspection, I discovered when I pulled the paint off, there was a few pinholes. So what I ended up doing was cutting out that section there and cutting out this section here and replacing both. I left that much of it in, original. That way I could match up the piece here and the piece here as well, so that it's close. Just need a layer of Nicky over the top of that and that'll be okay. That had the same issue. Wherever the filler, the black plastic filler they put inside these from Holden, wherever it was, that's where the pinholes were. So after digging everything out, there's now a relief just here, and there's also a relief in the back here which has now been opened up. So any water at all gets in there, it should get straight out. What I'll do now is paint it completely inside with the black KBS, and that will stop any future rust from coming through. Otherwise everything turned out pretty good, I think, for a first attempt at welding in panels. It's a little bit messy just there in the corner, but that's okay with the white Nicky over it. The rest of it's quite good. I'll be back once it's painted. Back again. The last time I spoke we were finishing off the rear quarters. They're all finished now and painted, and I'll show you what it's like. It's all finished inside now. It's a bit hard to see in there, but anyway, it's all blackened inside and out, and the other side's the same, including that area there and right down to the bottom. And the one thing I did do was leave the hole open so that once any water gets in there, it can come straight out, so it won't actually hold water anymore like it did before. I've left the vents open so they can get out, and I'll do something with the spare wheel well a little later, so no water will be held in there either. I'll have a relief in there. The next job we're going to start now is going to be the windows. The little holes here, there and everywhere. Around the bottom there's a few, so there's going to be a couple little patches in there. I'll let you know when I've got that cut out and show you how bad it is. That's it for now.